Baker Show. Seeking answers to age-old questions. Deciphering the world painted around you by the mainstream media. This is the Kev Baker Show. And now, here is your host, Kev Baker.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. A big, huge, massive, warm welcome to this, a very special broadcast indeed. Folks, we have got the one guest who you have been demanding back on the show, and we have got him here tonight. We've also got Gwen Caldwell, and hopefully we'll be joined by another guest just shortly. Now, before we get to the guests, I want to go to Marty. Really big show tonight, Martin. I've been promoting this all weekend. This really is going to be a message to humanity tonight, and I'm really, really dying to get into this, as you are, man.
Yeah, me too. I'm really looking forward to this one. Pleasure to be here. First of all, before we get moving, I want to give the chat room a big shout out. 35 people so far. Shout out to one of two, Ark Klingon, Bergie, Dank311, Dartmoor Dog, Fulcher, Gary Catlover, Gergs, Ivy Nurse, Joe Joseph. Hello, sir. Matt D, The Darkness, Wandernator, Mystical Fairy, Mitty Boosh, Naked Saint, Russell Brand, Squishy, Penelope, Choice Bro, Critical Mass, Maverick Star, John Tituazia, Stushi, Cloud, Eddie C, Adi, Killian, Daryl, Chris, Big Si from NI, Harold, Foswald, and R3 Divery. So thanks very much.
Not only is the chat room constantly filling up, Marty, but it seems to be really charged in there tonight. There's an energy in the chat room, and hopefully there's going to be an energy comes from this broadcast. So let me go to a fellow host here on TFR, my very good friend, Gwen Caldwell. Gwen, I'm absolutely buzzing to get into this tonight. As I've been telling you all day, my gut is telling me that right now is the time to do this show. I'd even messaged our guests on Christmas Day and at the New Year to pass on my wishes and to urge him to come back on. And I believe right now really is the time for our message to get out there. So I'm going to let you introduce our guest tonight.
Drum roll.
Just a bit of drama.
Thanks for having me on, Kev. And, you know, it's always a pleasure to be on. And Marty, thanks for having me. And please help me welcome to the show the ambassador of the Red Dragon family.
Hello,
Mr.
everyone.
Ambassador, welcome back to the Kev Baker Show. It really is an honour to have you back on air with us. And I'm really looking forward to tonight to hearing what your message is, not only to us, the listeners, but also to the cabal in general. So welcome back, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's always nice to be with all of you. And it was a time since we were talking last time, but yeah, now we are again together, so that's great, you know. And, you know, it has been a hard month, you know, of working to prepare and to get us to the stage where we are today. And now we are at the 2015 and the Chinese year of the sheeps. And, you know, it's time to awaken the sheeps and set them free, okay? And I believe this is the year to bring them back to basically, to, you know, to freedom, you know. It has been too much cultivated farming going on for a very long time, and I think it's time for us to realize that we are independent beings and that we are actually free and that we are actually just allowing these cabal people and our so-called governments to enslave us and basically traumatize us in our daily lives. And basically it's time for us now to stop allowing them to do so.
And Mr. Ambassador, we're in 2015 just now. I believe there's actually been signs in the skies that are actually pointing towards this being the time of change.
Yes, it is. I mean, it has been going on since the announcing, basically, that the cabal did not get their mandate renewed. And since that time, you know, science has been showing parts of my family crest in frequencies and different signs. And 2013, when we triggered the new era of 555, and we started the process, and I basically finalized that part of the work. I continued to, stay on and try to do work. And from there, basically, my mission came into a total different thing than what it was from the beginning, which was basically just to hand over the control buttons back to the rightful owner. And now, at this point of time, we are sitting here and basically waging a war on financial tyranny, and at the same time also waging a war on ignorance. And basically, this is what is the most important thing, is to wage this war on ignorance. But you need to do that in a formal sequence. If I would come out and shock you with all the truths of everything simultaneously, basically, it is like the devil says that, after this TV show, you have already forgot what I said to you. And that's what, that's the way that he survives, basically, by us having a memory like a goldfish. And so it's time for us to be reminded who we are, and that basically we've been living in Disneyland and an illusion for so long time. It's time for us to be awakened to the reality and basically, repurpose all the old organization into something new. And, in this signs of things we've been seeing on the crop fields over there, I was displaying that, over in your area there where you come from. And then, with different signs in the skies, the Vatican being hit at 5:55 in the morning when the old Pope was supposed to be removed. And now continuing with, the latest sign, which is the last sign, basically, when the phoenix was over Beijing, and which basically symbolizing the time and the return of a new dragon. And so the era of a new dragon and the era of a new power shift is here. 2016, you will also see the new system probably being fully operational if no Satanists or Kabbalists or Zionists or whatever you want to call them, if they're not going to be trying to stall that process. We're going to have a very good future in hand with the alternative system that is being set up right now. And I pray that the new administration that is coming to guide us to the next coming years will not be a replacement like changing Coca-Cola to Coca-Cola Light, that we actually go back to something real change for once, okay? And, by also empowering the people and having the people to wake up to the truth about many of the lies that we've been deceived about, I hope that it will be empowering the people to remove the rest of these people that doesn't want to surrender and remit, okay?
Wow. Now, Gwen, I want to get you in here because you really speak extensively to the ambassador, so you know a lot of the information that we need to get out tonight. But I think one of the things that struck me when I was watching one of the presentations that yourself, the ambassador, and Ron Van Dyke put on was this picture of the phoenix in the sky, and that really has stayed with me. And I really find all that kind of stuff fascinating. I'll hopefully be able to get that picture for the chat room, but I want you now to take the ambassador wherever we need to go next.
Well, I'd like to. I think what we need to start with here is there's a lot of talk about the gold. You've got all kinds of people. You've got Dave Wilcox, Ben Fulford, Keenan, and Swissendo, and everybody talking about the gold. We all know that there is a stockpile in various places of gold. The gold isn't the issue, and I would really like you to clarify what the purpose of that gold is and why it is really a moot point at this juncture.
The problem is that humanity has learned to worship money, okay? They're worshipping money and gold and silver, all materialistic things is basically what's driving them. And in reality, gold or the silver, it has been on this planet for years and years. That was the reason why the Anunnaki came here in the first place, to harbor our gold and use us to do so. And basically, we have more gold than exists in the normal documentations anywhere. And so actually, we have no lack of gold. We have no lack of silver. We have no lack of money. We have no lack of technologies. We have no lack of anything. What we do have is a lack of will. and we do have a lack of faith, and we do have a lack of kindness, and we have a lack of intelligence too. So what we need to do here is to put the focus, what is really important here is basically to awaken the ignorant masses. Now, I don't want to make people feel that, oh, you listen, I'm looking down upon everyone or saying that I'm more smarter than anyone else, but it's true. I mean, majority of the people, I think everyone that's on the program, that search this type of programs also, that are truth seekers and who wants to do things for humanity, they know that majority of the people that is on the streets, they're like goldfishes. They don't care. They don't know. They have no clue. And it's very important for all of us to realize that if these truths that I'm going to start be releasing step by step out, in the end, if a cabal do not remit and surrender, they will be hanging from the electrical poles, being basically lynched by the population.
So, Ambassador, is this basically a last chance for the cabal and those that work for them? Because I was just listening to David Wilcock the other day, and he was referencing the dragons in China, and he was saying that to watch out in 2015 for assassinations. Now, I'm not saying that this is the dragons that are planning this, but is this what you're talking about if they don't relinquish their power?
I mean, people have magically disappeared for a quite long time now, and I think that it will be more intensified. And I just want them to say that it is a way out without this type of consequences. And that is basically very simple. Remit, surrender, and ask for forgiveness. We might forgive you, okay, and make you repurpose your existence. It's no one on the planet that is sinless. Yeah, we all here know that we have done things that we probably more or less, proud of. But these people are, some of them are extreme, criminals. And this has to stop. And that's why I was so hoping that our brother would be on the line too today to talk about our engagement with
I am trying to actually add him as we speak. I don't know if... there we go now. He's ringing now. I told him to reset his Skype. So Ron Van Dyke is joining us imminently. So, Ambassador, just where were you there before I rudely interrupted you?
Yeah. No, so basically, we had a little conversation here with our dear Pope and his organization. And I wanted Ron to go a little bit deeper into it because he had a very nice talk to him. And after basically we were releasing this news, and also I think we put forward the statements from the World Bank that proves clearly who we are. And it's just one of our accounts. And, everyone knows that who is the controller, who is the owners. And also it has been a tremendous goodwill from other family people from all around the world. We've been called down with support from all nations, basically. And also I have seen that a lot of other groups that fights for freedom has also joined us. And this is the time for all of us to work together, cooperate, and basically dismantle this beast once and for all. And for religious people, who goes around waiting for, we're going to have a ship soon, and we're going to have this, we're going to have that, and all this type of nonsense. All these things is already here. You cannot commerce, you cannot do anything without your personal security code. You are already a slave. Watch yourself in the mirror, you are a sheep. You are a slave, understand? And how can we get ourselves out of it? Because, you can be put in an isolation, you can be free. It's in your mind. And it's what you yourself create and accept, which makes your destiny. And this is the time for us to take the destiny and to remove these retards once and for all from power. And, I'm very much upset what happened in Israel too with, the Security Council thing with Palestine. Now with the hypocrisy about that, the Palestinians are joining the International Criminal Court in Hague. And, they're scared that their soldiers are going to be arrested for war crimes. If you are a terrorist, you are a terrorist nation, Israel, you should be careful because you will be arrested. And there's a lot of other terrorists that needs to be arrested. You know, I can name a few. George Bush Jr., George Bush Sr., you know, Barack Obama, okay, to just mention few. And this type of, and Cheney, and we can go on, and McCain, or whatever, all these different terrorists, we can bunch them all up and put them where they belong.
Yeah, it really is up to us, isn't it? You know, the time is now sort of thing, because if we just let these criminals slip the net, you know, and the years pass by, then they're going to get away with it, you know. And it's up to us now to educate the children of tomorrow, you know, to try and change things so we don't ever get like this again, you know.
No, I believe that this has gone too far. I believe that they have, you know, that you can see there with the Israelis there that now, you know, their true face now comes out, that they are the aggressors on the planet, and that you know what the true face comes out. Same thing with the British and with the Americans, and I think that it's time for us to remove these scavengers and basically bring in true power into our nations, and basically sort of dismantling this type of tyranny that we have been enslaved with for so long, and allow ourselves to repurpose our own countries and institutions, and take away the corruptions that is inside of Europe and America and in so many other countries, and learn to work together, build, you know, tear down the borders and work together, you know, and find peace, build peace. We don't need to have this end time scenario, but also, you know, like I stated, it is people in the family even that thinks that the Cabal are good guys and they have a good population reductions program in place for the world, and you know, and probably that's where we're heading if we continue to live the way we live today. So it's up to us to actually take the changes and accept the changes and put the pressure. And I really hope that Ron, if he's online, could talk a little bit about what he was saying in his speech there to our dear friend Rogio, the Pope Francis, and then I will tell a little bit of my conversation with the Vatican too.
I think
Ambassador, we're trying to get him online, but we're having technical issues.
We're going to have to wait till probably the break to get him, because he needs to start his Skype and accept me again, because every time I go to dial him, it's just hanging up. So I don't know if you want to tell us about something about the Pope and the Vatican just now while I try and get him on.
Yeah. So what basically we, after doing our program, I was giving them warning and showing them the things, and I received a letter where they were asking me a few questions that what did I think the Pope supposed to do, what he's supposed to, you know, behave like. You were the ones that selected him, now you were removed the old one. What is your ambitions for him to do in the future? And basically everything that I was talking during this weekend, basically in his New Year's speech, he confirmed. Okay? So basically he says that he's ready to do all these things. Now, if you're ready to do all these things, very good, the Pope. But stop the maritime law, stop taking away this all the different institutions that you have under U.S. umbrella, stop them, repurpose them, and give back freedom to the people. You are the ones that are the biggest debt holder on the planet, and you are the one that has the American and European population and other populations as your personal slaves. So it's time, if you want to stop slavery, you could set your slaves free. So the 1 billion of them that you have. Okay? And this is a very, very, very important thing. We need to hold the Pope accountable to whatever he says. So if he says that he is ready to do it, then please, now it's time for you to show action, not just talk anymore.
But surely being a Jesuit Pope, Ambassador, he comes from almost the war arm of the Vatican. And you know, we're on about giving knowledge to the people, the sheep, waking them up. A good bit of that knowledge is contained right under where he sits. He should be opening all of that up for everyone. Maybe not all at once, but at least some kind of drip, drip, drip.
Yes. No, you know, the thing is this way, that I think it's time for them to come clean with many things. I think it's the truth and realization, things that needs to be taken about the history, the truth about Jesus, the truth about religion, you know, and also going into, you know, maybe releasing certain things that they've been keeping hidden for the people, to show good attention. But most importantly right now is to change the laws and set the lands free. Okay, give back freedom to people for the first time in over 2,000 years. Give them back their freedom to be free individuals, to basically flourish directly on this planet. And that is something that we're going to push and shove until we get it. And if he falls, and if that falls, I believe the rest of the domains of this cabal will automatically follow after.
Okay, right. Sorry about that wee pause there. Gwen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang up, and then if you reconnect the call and you add Ron, that should get him on. What do you think?
I think he needs to, I don't know what the issue is here, really. He's restarted. I mean, I don't know how we resolve this issue. I don't.
You've been on a call on Skype with him, so if you host the call, theoretically, you should be able to add him.
Well, should we wait until break and do that then?
Yep, let's go for it.
I've been trying to bring him on myself, and on his home phone.
Okay,
and
let's get you back into the
allowed.
ambassador now. Where do you want to go before we hit the break?
Okay, what I would like, another thing I would like addressed is, people go, how do we know that this ambassador is who he says he is? What evidence do we have? We've heard for so many years that, there's going to be NESARA funds, there's going to be prosperity funds, there's going to be a global financial reset, there's going to be an RV, there's going to be all of this stuff. And so maybe you're just another one of those guys. What differentiates you, and what, I don't even know how to answer that, because basically it's just a journey of blind faith for all of us. But again, I think it goes back to that everybody's concerned about the money. What am I going to get? What I want you to address, Ambassador, if you could, is why aren't people doing what they can where they're at with what they've got? Why are they so damn selfish and stingy with what they've got? And why aren't they helping humanity doing what they can where they're at without the money? Why would money come to them if you can just address that stuff?
Okay, I will just tell a story of my own life to start with. I come from a rich family. I had everything I wanted in my life. I drive the fancy cars. I had the Jewish villas with beautiful girls and a wonderful family, and so on and so on. Okay? I have been traumatized in my work, even isolated, imprisonmented for 2 years. That's that, wrongfully. And that happened also to the M1 in the past too. I've been struggling. I've been doing a lot to help humanity and basically being all around the world. And I learned that actually to find the true happiness in life, you find with your family. You find it with people. And money is only a tool for us to do whatever we need to do. But when we keep the focus on all these material things, we forget the bigger picture. You don't feel better living in a huge villa or living in a small room, okay? When you start living in a big room, after a while you're going to feel that you're completely empty in a huge room. So but life is this way. The difference between me and the other ones that is there is that some of them maybe didn't have this. Some of them are brokers, like Neil Keeman. He's going around searching to grab something. I don't need to go and grab it. I can just go out and take what I want, And you have these other people that, like Karen Hughes, that basically almost are, by my opinion, a compulsive woman who basically doesn't give up. She wants to be the emperor of a world, the new head of some new World Bank she created. And she doesn't even accept what the elders and other people tells her. She still run her show. Maybe that's why she was fired for real from the World Bank, because she couldn't take a no for an answer. I don't know. But Benjamin Fulford, he's here to educate people. He's doing his work there with the White Dragon Society. I respect what he's doing. He's helping people to become enlightened. And this is a very, very important thing. I wish that all of us even Neil Keeman and all these other ones could work together. And same thing when you come with people like Swissindo, who claimed to be the King of Kings and all these different stories. He's the owner, committing all the crimes against the family you can do. And basically afterwards he was fading away. But the problem here is that if we all would work together to set humanity free, we would be much more successful. But people always come with the ego trips. That's the reason why I stay out of my name. That's why I don't show my face and things like that, because I don't want to build up like a ego trip for myself.
Exactly. We don't need a leader right now, Ambassador. We just need change. And listen, folks, we'll be back after these short messages, and then Joe Joseph will be live right after me.
This is the Kev Baker Show.
Welcome back, folks, to the second half of tonight's broadcast of the Kev Baker Show, right here on your #1 alternative media network, www.truthfrequencyradio.com. I want to thank each and every one of you out there tonight for keeping it TFR. Now, Gwen, we finally managed to get connected with your good friend and the Ambassador's friend, Ron Van Dyke. Now, anyone who has been doing any research at all on the Ambassador and the Dragon family on YouTube will undoubtedly have come across Ron before. If you haven't, I urge you all to check out his YouTube channel. It is Paradox Man, I believe. Is that correct, Ron?
Yes, Paradox Man 316.
Well,
and
welcome.
Just as a point of thing, this coming Sunday begins my 5th year of doing a video every day.
Well, I want to welcome you to the show, sir, and I'm really, really impressed by your YouTube channel. I'm uber impressed by your work with the Ambassador, and I was totally and utterly blown away by a personal message that you sent to the Pope himself. Could you tell us about that?
Well, I can't repeat everything that I said, and I wouldn't even try, but I appreciated the fact that he said he wanted to end human slavery and war. Now, it's really interesting that someone in his position would make a statement like that, because if he actually followed through, it would mean, as the Ambassador said earlier on the program, and I was listening, it would mean that he'd have to end canon law, which is admiralty law, which is a maritime law, which sees us basically as already dead, not just enslaved, but dead people. Now, that's the foundation of our law system. That's why courts and police and governments treat us as if we don't have rights, because in their perspective, based on the rules of the Vatican, we are not even living beings. And the church, the Vatican, has literally claimed ownership of our souls and our bodies. And they don't even allow us to own property. I mean, technically, even if you buy a house, and it doesn't even matter, I know it's true in the United States, but I think it's probably true in most of the world. If you buy a house, you're only a tenant on your own land, even if you pay for it. Even if you have no mortgage, you're still a tenant, because the Vatican claims ownership of everything on the planet. Now, how can there be freedom as long as there's this mentality of owning everything on the planet and the people owning nothing, coming from the highest levels of our institutions and our human culture? And this is the problem that we have to address from the Vatican and from all of our other institutions, because we will never end war, we will never end slavery, as long as this mindset of we are the boss, we are in control of everything, remains intact. This is the issue that we face, and yes, it's inside of each of us, but it's also institutionalized in the world. And the institutionalization of the mindset creates an invisible prison, an invisible slavery system, where we live in fear all the time, because our brothers and sisters get jobs working for the institutions, and the instructions that they're given are instructions to violate our rights, our natural rights. And I'm challenging the Pope to really mean what he says. But as has already been indicated earlier, he comes from the Jesuit arm of the Catholic Church, the first ever Jesuit Pope. Now, the Jesuits are the military arm of the Vatican. They are the ones that carry out all the dirty deeds. They are the ones that do the mind control. They are the ones that work with the military industrial complex. They are the ones that that create a lot of the problems on Earth that we're not going to create peace on Earth until we address the issues that are preventing peace on Earth.
Well, Ron, what do you make of the prophecy of the last Pope? Do you think that this Pope just now may well be the last Pope we see?
I would hope he's the last Pope under the old order of things, under the old mindset. The ambassador uses a term, your something has expired. Mr. Ambassador, do you know what I'm saying?
The old mandate.
The mandate is over. And we're under a new mandate. 555 is a new mandate. But the problem is most of the people in the world are clueless and don't even know what 555 is, what the mandate is. But it's basically a system of control. And it's been implemented, in my opinion, from extraterrestrials that are working with human beings. And we have to wake up to these facts because we are coming into a place where we're literally more powerful than they are at this point in time, just simply because we woke up.
Ron, you did an outstanding video on the first minute after after midnight on New Year's Day, and I tell you, I was literally cheering because I think you said so eloquently what everyone feels. We're tired of this, and we're not going to stand for it anymore, and we're calling out the cabal and just saying, no more, you're done. We're not feeding your machine that's chewing us alive and eating us up and spitting us out for thousands of years. We're done with it now. Your time is up. But what we need to do is take this a step further in what do we do day to day? Either you, Ron, or the ambassador, what do we change day to day in our lives that stops the cabal from doing what they're doing and giving them permission to continue enslaving us? What do we do every day that we have to stop doing that empowers them?
What we stop doing is basically to completely stop assisting them. Everything that is empowering them, we don't do it. You understand? Instead of using credit cards, take out money and pay in cash. You understand? Instead of, when someone gives an order to fly an airplane with shit in it, just refuse to do it. If someone gives an order to shoot this person, don't do it. Someone sends you an order to go to war somewhere, you refuse. You do not cooperate with these people. It's important that people on all levels stop cooperating. I know there's a lot of scared people, scared of these changes. But once this changes, but if some people will start doing it on all levels in all areas around the world, basically these people are going to be traumatized. They're a very small group of people. You should gather them all together and basically let them battle it out.
That's it. I mean, people don't realise how much power they actually do have. You know, if everybody grouped together, it would astronomical, the change, you know.
Use the Ceausescu instance, for example. I mean, he killed, 50,000 people there in Timisoara. Then he was holding his speech, promising, giving more money. Then he made one little wrong thing in his speech, and the whole audience wanted to eat him up. Then he had to escape on his helicopter. Later on, he was shot in his head. Finished off his legacy. That's what's coming for them. All of them. So the thing is this way, now they have the chance to save themselves.
I don't see that happening, Ambassador. Not at all. I don't see evil likes of the Bushes, all the other families, the royal families. I don't see them just changing their ways. And I really do fear that we're going to have to go through some kind of bloody revolution or some change, because we have to get out this old guard and we have to be realistic. Everyone has had the choice to not comply forever, but yet what is different now? Why should we do that now? Why should we take this leap of faith?
Because now you have the solution. Now you have the power behind you. Now you have the nations behind you, over 188 nations behind you. Now you have an awakening world. You have the internet. You have all these groups like the Anonymous, other type of groups that can join together to do the work together, feeling empowered by ourselves, feeling empowered by them, and that we work together to change the world. Now, not do like we did in the past, like aggressing on each other and fighting and ego problems. No, work together to get rid of these people once and for all. And the people that works in the police agencies that knows which crimes they've committed, finally do your job, take them out.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the simple thing.
Again, it comes back to that whole thing, you know, their power structure is based around the people. Without us, they're nothing, you know. Again, we've got so much power against them in numbers. And like you say, non-compliance, non-consent is really the only way to change things. And we need to change the people, because once we do, you know, they'll just collapse.
Last time we were on the program, I was fighting and screaming about how this is, you know, was not allowed to feed poor people in Florida. It had a great impact, that show, on that whole incident. Maybe our friend can tell what was going on. But it had a great impact. If we didn't do that, probably nothing would happen. But if we take the stance and say, we had enough, no more of this bullshit, no more of this aggression, then people have to, they're going to get shitless, scared. And maybe they're going to start with their own infighting blames and basically take themselves out.
Absolutely. You make enough noise and, you know, things change, definitely.
Yeah. So, and if they don't go out in the nice way and they still hold on, then they will be taken down in different other ways. So, and also like the Vatican was asking me, they said that, oh, the ambassador is waging wars against the Vatican. No, God is waging wars against the Vatican. He had enough. I'm not in power over birds that took down his birds. I'm not the one that can create lightning bolts. I'm not the one making the signs of the heaven. That's the Creator. Now, you want to fight with him? Or you want to repent? Yeah. So it's time for them now to wake up. We have enough people to take them down in a heartbeat.
And what kind of time frame are we looking at here, Ambassador? Because people are craving this change now. And I know just by looking at the chat, we really, really want to see this happen. We're all behind this 555. How long are we looking here?
No, the way I look at it is if we start tonight, we have already started, but if we continue today and putting the pressure on them and putting the highlighting on and continue with the programs and continue with networking and creating our own movement together with other movements already existing, we can become a very powerful entity on the planet that can dismantle a lot of their fucking infrastructure. And that's what we need to do. And we have the full support from our own side. And even from some great leaders too. And when we talk about great leaders, like I can say, yes, we have good leaders in our backyard. People like, Putin and Chinese Prime Mayor and many other people, okay, all over the world. And so it's time for us to repurpose our continents, and it's time for us to take back, make the central banks really central banks, and make the institutions for the people, not for the corporations. And any type of corrupt corporation that thinks that he can evaluate and aggress on human rights, then we need to stop using that corporation and use other means of feeding ourselves. We need to, force them to surrender, basically.
Well, this is what I've noticed too, is that people shop at Walmart, for instance. They go to the big box stores. They support the big corporations that are purchasing primarily slave labor goods to sell to you at a smaller rate, and you think you can't survive if you don't shop at Walmart. But basically, you're feeding that machine. You're not supporting your local businesses, because for every dollar that you spend locally, that $1 gets spent again in your local community 4 times. Every dollar you spend at Walmart, you're taking $4 away from your own community. So by doing these things, you're eliminating your own ability to shut down the machinery that's eating you up because you want to save a few dollars. These are the kinds of things that you have to be aware of as you go day to day.
I believe that they're gonna collapse the financial system this year. I believe that we're gonna see a collapse, see that we're gonna have a lot of problems. I believe that it's important for the people that works in that industry and ourselves to take responsibility and basically force these people in to do what's right. And don't let them go, and keep observing their activities. And I think that's very, very important. They should know that we are watching them. Okay? And, and I hope that they will do what's right. And so that we don't need to take in other form of measures on them. Okay? And that's very, very, very important. We're gonna start now coming with truth and acceleration programs. We start with this today, but we're gonna add on with more programs showing truths, exposing truths about things. And with that, people are gonna be more awakened. And also don't forget, Cabal, that you have been storing data on us, but we have been storing data on you guys too. We created you, and we can also dismantle you. So it's time for you to take wisely and surrender in a nice and kind manner. And maybe you will be able to be repurposed in the system. But this psychopathic mentality that has been going on for so long has to stop, and that's immediately. So I would like to see the reform taking place, as soon as possible. And don't think that we're gonna give some sweet words, and with the sweet words, we're gonna forgive everything and forget everything, and with delay tactics like has been used in the past. No, now this time we calling you on your things, and we're watching you, and we want you to do what's right.
Ambassador, you just mentioned about the economic collapse possibly happening this year. I just wanted to know if you could reflect on maybe what's happening with the oil prices right now. Over here in the UK, it's a 10-year low. It just keeps going down every day, and the Dow, is going down, losing points. And could this be part of the manipulation and like the quiet before the storm? Get us used to cheap prices, and then big squeeze happens.
Yeah, it is. It's a part because, the oil has much more oil than it has, and it's like the blood of this planet. And they've been able to manipulate the oil demand and the oil prices for a very, very long time. And since they started this war, fuel war and economical war with Russia and China, basically they thought that would be somehow destroying Russia. So they've been putting down and pressing down the prices, but in the end what it's going to do is going to destroy themselves too. And all the wars that they fought because of controlling this oil is now basically wasted money and wasted lives. United States has been aggressing upon over 100 nations, terrorizing and killing and slaughtering their citizens and stealing their natural resources. And people had enough. We wouldn't even need this Israeli terrorist organizations like ISIS and Hamas and Hezbollah and whatever, if it wasn't for the fact that this, evil groups has been, completely traumatizing the world for so long. And now it's time to put the criminals where they belong, in prisons, in camps, and to remove these wicked, weirdo people out of commission once and for all. And, the best way to do that is basically not to empower them, not to support them, not to buy into this ridiculous political systems that they have set up for us to enslave us. And, we need to remove these assholes once and for all. And it's not only in America, the same thing is in Europe. And most of these politicians, they are scared shitless and do whatever the cabal tells them because they have so much dirt on them. But, we also have a lot of dirt on you guys. So, you should do what's right. And if you do what's right and people know that you had a bad thing in your background, but still you did what's right, maybe people will forgive you. But, going down as some of the worst tyrants and the places of the planet, and we're going to have some new Nuremberg type of what's called meetings, trials. It's, you can save yourself from embarrassment by start surrendering now.
So I'd like to just go back to Ron for a minute and talk about
We're getting a bit of feedback there from your from the ambassador's speakers, I think, Gwen.
Okay, that's better. Ron,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. In your New Year's Day video, when you were addressing the cabal and saying we're not taking this anymore, what specifically? I mean, just what's one thing right off the top of your head that you're going to do this year to take back the power that the cabal has in your life?
Well, one of the things before the month is over, I'm going to file a lawsuit against the CEO and all the executive officers of Florida Power and Light who are in violation of a contract that I created with them, in which I said I'm willing to pay for the power that I use. I'm not willing to pay the extortion fees, which are the fees for keeping a non-standard meter. And I said, if you cash this check, you are agreeing to the terms. I write on it, this is a contract. And they cashed the check, even though I had everything documented with return receipts and certified mail and all the legal necessities. And so I'm going to file a lawsuit against the people that are running Florida Power and Light. I warned them. They still charged me. I paid the $198 that I was supposedly in arrears on to keep them from shutting off my power. But I am going to at least embarrass them, and I'm going to stand in the court as a plaintiff, and I'm going to be telling the judge, are you saying that I'm a slave and that I don't have the right to make my own contract? Are you telling me that I have to abide by those people's contract, even though I did not consent, even though I have a legitimate contract, a lawful contract that they agreed to by cashing my check? And I'm going to make the judge either tell me that I'm a slave and come right out and say it in court. I'm going to put them right on the spot. And that's going to be much safer than when I get arrested for driving without a license or something like that, where they claim to have a criminal charge, because then I'm a defendant. In this case, I'm a plaintiff. I have the control of the court. And I have the control of the case because I'm the one that filed it. So that gives me greater voice to sound off to the authorities, and I'm hoping that I can get some of the lazy people and the people with their heads up their butts that in my spiritual community to stand with me here when I actually bring this to court. But this is one of the things, the action plans that I plan to do, in addition to doing videos every day and telling people the truth.
And coming back on this show as well, Ron. I'm really looking forward to networking with yourself more, because not only the ambassador, like he was saying, we all have to work together right now on this. And Ambassador, before you go, I just have to ask you, I watched a video with yourself, Gwen, and Ron, and you were showing a photo, an image of what appeared to be, and I think you even described it yourself, as the Anunnaki.
Yes.
Could you tell the listeners a bit about that? Because I was personally blown away by something that I certainly hadn't seen before.
Yes, I have a lot of this type of photos.
And when are we likely to see some of this stuff released to the masses?
Yeah, I started slowly in the last program, and I'm going to make programs about these people. and with more photographic evidence from different places that I've been taking. And to basically prove a point that these nobles, which were called the nobles, which is written in the Torah, it stated that, in the Bible it says the fallen angels, but in the Torah it stated the nobles. And these nobles is the Anunnaki, and of the giants. And basically, I'm going to bring forward the photographic evidence from different places that I have on these entities. And they're kept in under our security banner. And we're going to go through a lot of these different things to explain for the world that the world was different than what we learned in the history book. And a lot of these different things like the Ark of the Covenant and a lot of different special things like the Holy Grail and all these different things that we heard about, all those things exist and is kept in safekeeping. So it's time to bring forward all these secret things to the public to see, and not allow the Vatican and other secret societies to control them and keep it away from the masses and keeping them in some form of ignorance. And also we need a truth and reconciliation, because how things was and how we are created, what's God and what's religion and things like that. And we need to start to work on that to basically unify the masses and even unifying the religions under one banner. And that's, I think, is a very, very important thing, because that's the way the Cabal has succeeded for 2,000 years to divide us in different camps, being Jews or Christians or Muslims, and then fighting each other over and over again. And this is basically what we need to put a stop for. And by putting forward this evidence there, it's going to throw a lot of people away, and they're going to turn around back to the priesthoods and the church and say that, why did you guys deceive us? And it's time for doing that now. It's time to bring people back to reality and basically to expose truth. So I want all of our other brothers in the community to assist me with that work and bring more of these things forward.
And I want to thank you, Ambassador, also you, Ron, and Glenn, and Marty, for what has been another epic broadcast. 2015, let's beat the change, folks. And let's just hope that everything we heard tonight